Hi everyone, let's talk makeup. Today I have a review of the new Shea Moisture makeup line. It's not really that incredibly new, but it's relatively new and I haven't seen a whole lot of people talking about it, so I thought I would pick up some things because not all the Targets have them. And as far as I know, well, I'll list below where you can find this line, but I know it's available at some of the Targets, and I've only been able to find it at one of the Targets I've been to. So I picked up a bunch of different things and thought I would give you a review on the items I picked up and sort of a mini review of the line. So let's get started. Let me show you first off the things I bought. I got the like mini palette, and I'll put the prices, by the way. I can't remember off the top of my head how much all this cost, but they're a little bit pricier for makeup, drugstore makeup I mean. So you know, I think you really want to watch some reviews and check some of these things out before you spend this much on them, because I don't know if I didn't plan on doing a review of this, if I would have picked up all these things without knowing much about them. So I picked up the small palette. They have a bigger one that's like twice the price, but I didn't need that. I thought that one would be fine. I got a lip crayon. I got a concealer, I got a blush, and a face powder. So I thought that would give me a nice overview of the whole brand, and it would give me an idea of what things are good, what things to skip, and what things I might want to go back for more. So first off, let's start with something good. Let's start with something good. This little palette. I really like the size of this. Sometimes I love the C palettes. But this one is nice and compact, it's nice and sturdy, as you can see. It's not easily like openable. So there you go. And they sell their face powders, eyeshadows, and blushes in pan form, so that you can just stick them in here and basically create your own little travel palette. Pick these up. So sure enough, this is the Makeup Geek eyeshadow. It's magnetized already, fits right in there, and this is Magic Act. So if you have Makeup Geek shadows, they will, or blushes, they will certainly, you can certainly use them with this palette. So that is a huge win. Let's go to negative so we can get this out of the way. My least favorite product in this line, or of the things I picked up, was the lip crayon. And it makes me not want to get any more of the lip crayons. So I got mine in the color Keylin, and they were pretty colors. They don't have a huge range of them yet, but the colors that they have are pretty. However, this one I wore a couple of times and I cannot keep wearing it, and I'm actually going to return it. I'll give you the swatch of this though. The color is very pretty. It's like almost orange tone red. And you can see here it is pigmented. It's a little bit sheer, but not that much. I think it only appears sheer because it is kind of moisturizing and very wearable. It is very comfortable on the lips. But the huge fail for me is that it's almost like the moisturizing property in this makes it very movable, and so it doesn't stay put on your lips. I'll put it on, I'll smack my lips a bit, or talk, and then I'll check my mirror, and the lip crayon has completely moved all over my lips, and it's all of a sudden the color is uneven on my lips. And that to me is just like a huge no-no, especially when I can get better quality lip crayons that don't do that for cheaper, from like Revlon, NYX, even Wet n Wild, things like that. Those lip crayons I would prefer to this one. So that was a fail for me. Now on to the more gray area. So I picked up one of the concealers because I love concealer, and so I wanted to try it out, and I got mine in the color Havasu Hazel. And this is a huge complaint actually. Not the actual concealer itself. The concealer itself is fine. What I have a huge problem with was the labeling of the colors. And at first I thought that people had like screwed with these and like put them in the wrong box. But then I checked the boxes and the actual product, and no, the names and the guide that it has on the little strip next to the price don't match the actual product. Like they'll tell you one is light medium or medium, and then you look at it and you're like, there's no way that's light medium, you know. Anyways, you'll see if you see these on the display. Don't go by the display. Look. Luckily they do have some of these guides to help, or you can see a little bit of the product in there, because the actual guide does not guide you. Is basically what I'm trying to say, and I think that just puts me off a little bit, because then I have to spend, you know, even more time looking at the display trying to figure out what I want, or which one will match me best. And I feel like a lot of people, I would probably have just walked away and been like, never mind. But anyways, this one is a little bit yellow, and I do have yellow undertones, and so I'm able to blend it in with the beauty blender, and this concealer ends up working for me. But for other like medium toned ladies out there, this is probably going to be the color for you, and yet it's not going to work for everybody because of the yellow undertones. So this is the swatch of it, and as you can see, it's really yellow, almost to the point of being more of a corrector than a concealer. And I've tried it different ways. I've tried it just on by itself, and it works fine by itself. It doesn't cover all of the deep darkness in my under eye circles, but it works fine. I've tried it with corrector underneath it, and that's how I prefer it, but that is also how I generally prefer to wear under eye concealer anyways. So in that way it's a plus, because it works in my routine very well. I am a little put off by the yellowness of it at first when you first apply it, but then as soon as I blend it out with a beauty blender, it totally blends into the skin, and there's no extra yellowness on it. So this, I think I will keep and continue using, and see, you know, if I can mix it in with the concealers and see how I can make it work even better for me. But this works fine. I would recommend this, except they don't have a whole lot of shades, and the little guide on picking your shade is terrible. So, two more things I picked up from the line, and these are in the palette. You have the blush and face powder. I'll start with the face powder. I got mine. They come in pan form in these little boxes, and they're actually very nicely protected inside. They remind me of the Makeup Geek packaging, so they're very nice in here, and I think that's great because there's less of a likelihood that you'll get broken pans. So mine is in color Cata Sand, and this one, with the face powders, they do a better job with the guide, and the guide matching the actual product. So for this one, I was able to pick out my color pretty easily, and I got kind of the like medium shade. Now the only thing about these is, looking at this, they tend to run like neutral to yellow. They have some that are clearly labeled neutral, and some that are clearly labeled like golden undertones, and I think I saw a few that were cool tone, but the range isn't large, so I don't think everyone's going to be able to find their color in these. But I was able to find mine. So Cata Sand worked very nicely with my skin tone, and it's actually probably even, here's the swatch, might be a bit yellow, or a bit lighter maybe even. No, it just, you know, it just worked well. It blended in very nicely, and so I've tried it a few different ways, because I'm an oily skin girl. Right, very oily skin girl, by the way, not where I'm like combination and I get a little bit of oils in my T-zone. No, I get a lot of oil shining through, and so I need a very mattifying medium to full coverage foundation in order for my oils to not like seep through in like 4 to 5 hours. So I tried this face powder on its own as just a foundation, and I hated it that way. It didn't work. In less than like within an hour, I would check the mirror and my oils were completely seeping through. So not on its own, but I really don't use powder foundations on their own anyways, so that's kind of fine with me. However, I have really been loving it as a kind of finishing powder. Like today, I did my makeup and I did a mixture of the Kat Von D Lock-It liquid foundation and the Pond's BB cream, and so that kind of lightened up the Kat Von D, or thinned out Kat Von D foundation a bit. And then after doing my contour blush, I went in all over my face with this powder, and I've been doing that for about 5 days, and it's worked fine. The Kat Von D foundation takes care of keeping the oils under control, and this is just a nice finish to help me blend in all the other face products and to just make my look finished. So I do recommend this face powder if you're going to use it as a finishing powder or on top of a liquid foundation. I do think it'll work for normal skin tones, and I think it will actually work well for dry skin as well, just because of my experience working with it on its own. So I think this will work on a wide range of people. So saving the best for the last, I think my favorite product out of everything I bought here was the blush. And this is and it comes again in this little box, and this is in the Annecy Marron, and it's a nice berry color. I'll swatch it for you, but I am wearing this right now. P.S. I'm wearing the face powder, the concealer on top of corrector, and in the blush. So this is a beautiful berry. It does have some shimmer to it, not like very pigmented, so light or fair skin tones will have to use a light hand with it. But it's a really gorgeous color. I liked it. It's not necessarily that summer appropriate. And by the way, the shimmer in it is gold, so I really like it. And usually I tend to stay away from any blush that has shimmer in it because I have acne scarring, and shimmer and glitter will accentuate the scars, my acne scars, and so I want to stay away from that. I prefer matte blushes, but this one just worked really well. It doesn't accentuate my acne scarring, I don't think. It doesn't highlight my pores, anything like that. No, it just melts into my skin very nicely. It's very pigmented, but also easy to blend out. Like if I overdo it, which I have done a couple of times, then I just go in with a brush, blend it in a little bit more, or take a little bit of the face powder and blend it in, and it totally goes to a wearable, looks more wearable than it originally did. So that is it. Oh my goodness. I feel like I've been talking forever, but let me know if you have any questions. I think overall I really like the concept of these palettes, and I think this palette, I think it's going to be good for travel, especially now that I know that my Makeup Keep shadows will fit in there. The lip crayon was a huge fail, so I will be returning this. Blush and the palette are my two favorite things. The powder I think will work for a lot of people if you're not planning on using it as a powder foundation. And the concealer I liked, but I have a big gripe with the way they try to help you find your ideal color. But anyways, that is it for me. Let me know if you have questions below. I'd love to answer them, or let me know what your experience with the Shea Moisture line is. I really like this because Shea Moisture is a company that I really like. It's cruelty-free, which is a huge plus for me. They tend to use a little bit more natural ingredients. And so it is a brand that I want to support, right? And so I think there are some kinks to work out, but overall I am pretty happy with most of the things I got, and will only be returning the one. So let me know what you think, if you have any questions, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!